Mechanics. You love biking before?
Bueno, yo creo que podemos empezar. ¿Os va bien si lo hago en castellano?
Sí.
¿Sí?
Sí.
También puedo empezar.
Hoy mi hijo ha hecho un examen de chino de oficial, que era de
¡Guau! ¡Felicidades!
Gracias, gracias, espero que le vaya bien. Pues no estaba hoy aquí, o sea que lo haremos en castellano, ¿no?
Pues, ¿qué tal, Anaís? Está más pronto eso.
Ay, no.
Pues, bueno, básicamente ayer pudisteis ver un poco muy rápido lo que estamos haciendo, al menos hacia dónde estamos tirando, que es el planteamiento que tenemos en cuanto a los datos y cómo comunicarlos. Y nos encontramos un poco a modo de resumen de lo que pasó ayer, para que entendáis un poco, en un momento en el que en los 300 últimos años no ha cambiado para nada la forma en cómo se han representado estos datos. Desde esta carta de importaciones y exportaciones de William Playfair en 1700 y pico, hoy en día los gráficos que podemos encontrar en los diarios, en páginas web, en blogs, etcétera, etcétera. Es decir, seguimos utilizando los mismos infográficos y esto ha llegado un momento en que puede llegar a suponer un problema. ¿Por qué? Porque estamos explicando información muy distinta, con unas realidades completamente distintas y la estamos explicando de la misma forma, y entonces eso hace que la gente no sienta esta conexión o no sienta de una forma determinada ante una realidad concreta, ¿no? Es decir, nos encontramos diariamente cuando en las noticias nos dicen hay 54 muertos que no sé qué, y nos lo explican con quizá un gráfico, nos lo explican con un número, igual que nos explican cualquier chorrada, como puede ser los ingredientes de una pizza, ¿no? Nos los explican de la misma forma. ¿Cómo puede ser que no estemos evolucionando en cuanto a cómo el lenguaje se está explicando? Para eso quiero que hagamos un pequeño experimento. Quiero que penséis en un nacimiento. ¿Qué significa un nacimiento? Un nacimiento es un suceso que es quizá uno de los sucesos más relevantes en el transcurso de nuestras vidas. Seguro que si es que habéis tenido un hijo o que tenéis a alguien cerca, habréis sentido una cosa que es espectacular, la emoción llevada a un punto extremo, ¿no? Pero ¿qué pasa cuando convertimos este nacimiento en un símbolo, en un número? Este número está vacío, es decir, no conlleva toda esa emoción. Si hablamos de un nacimiento a través de los números, este número pierde todo el contexto, pierde toda la realidad y todo lo que hay detrás de ello, ¿no? Lo mismo pasa si de repente, si extrapoláramos ese nacimiento, esa realidad a muchos nacimientos, la emoción tendría que subir, ¿no? Es decir, sería incluso mucho más potente, pero lo mismo hacemos en el momento en que lo convertimos en un número y este número acaba perdiendo su valor otra vez. Entonces, ¿qué es lo que hacemos nosotros? Nosotros estamos intentando básicamente entender, como decía ayer, la relación que hay entre la información y las personas y hacer más estrecha la distancia esta que existe entre la realidad, lo que podría ser un nacimiento, y la percepción de la realidad, que podría ser, por ejemplo, la representación de esta a través de los números. Y lo hacemos jugando con tres áreas que nos permiten desarrollar los proyectos en los que estamos trabajando hoy, que son trabajando con la tecnología, porque nos permite generar posibilidades, con el diseño, porque nos permite generar soluciones, y con el arte, porque es la herramienta para poder preguntar las preguntas de una forma que pueda ser relevante y que pueda tocar a las personas. Entonces, aquí.
Esto es normal que se oiga esto, ¿no?
No, creo que es el dron de...
Es el dron.
Os voy a explicar un poco uno de los proyectos que enseñé ayer, pero un poco más extendido. Cuando abrieron el Museo del Diseño nos pidieron de generar una pieza para poder atraer a la gente, ¿no? Y teníamos un brief totalmente abierto, era un proyecto en el cual no teníamos ningún objetivo más que el de generar un espacio para poder atraer a la gente, y en este caso nosotros trabajamos de una forma es muy personal al fin. Es decir, nos preguntamos una pregunta y empezamos a generar brainstorming y pensar qué es lo que podríamos aprender o entender sobre las personas. Y entonces llegamos a esta realidad donde nos planteamos de saber hasta qué edad a la gente le gustaría vivir, o lo que es lo mismo, cuándo le gustaría morir a la gente, dependiendo de su edad, ¿no? Y entonces lo que planteamos es generar un sistema para recolectar todos estos datos. Y básicamente, si funcionamos o si entendemos el esquema en el que nos encontramos para poder convertir lo que podría ser el raw data en conocimiento, ahora os voy a enseñar cómo trabajamos en este proyecto, pero básicamente lo que hicimos es preguntarle a más de 2000 personas qué edad tenían y cuándo les gustaría morir. Y con esto generamos esta base de datos súper básica, es un Excel muy tonto hasta cierto punto, en el que teníamos la información de si la persona a la que le preguntábamos era un hombre o una mujer, la edad que tenía y la edad a la que le gustaría morir. Entonces esto sería como la parte de raw data, y a través de la computación, a través de esta parte del ordenar esta información, podemos convertir el raw data, los datos, en información que pueda ser legible, que pueda ser inteligible y que nos pueda servir, ¿no? Entonces sería este siguiente paso, sería el paso de convertir los datos o una base de datos en un gráfico que lo pueda leer cualquier persona, ¿no? Y este gráfico, por ejemplo, es bastante cachondo porque nos muestra en el eje horizontal la edad real y en el eje vertical la edad a la que la gente le gustaría vivir. Y como podéis ver aquí, bueno, tenemos al principio de todo los niños.
Son muy insatisfechos los estudiantes de edad media.
Pero los niños, por ejemplo, les molaría vivir hasta los 140, y cuando nos vamos haciendo mayores nos damos cuenta que no, que la vida no va de eso, ¿no? Y entonces nos vamos haciendo poco a poco mayores y a mayor edad llega un momento en que decimos no, a tomar todo, ¿no? Nos vamos a vivir hasta los 100, 120, yo quiero seguir viviendo. Pero luego hay ese maravilloso...
Claro, una persona que ya tiene 90 no va a decir que quiere morir a los 80.
Pero bueno, sí, nos encontramos un tío que nos dijo que cuando... tenía 30 y pico, y nos dijo, yo es que desde los 17 no hay nada que me haya pasado interesante en la vida. Pero bueno, el tema es, luego también hay ese spot ahí entre la franja de los 20 y los 30, que es el club de los 27. Gracias a gente como Jimi Hendrix, Amy Winehouse y todos estos artistas, han creado una tendencia donde hay gente que realmente se quiere morir a la edad de los 27. Es una cosa tendenciosa.
Tener un cadáver bello, ¿no? Que decía James Dean, ¿no? De vivir hasta los 30 y tener un cadáver bonito.
Pura moda.
Luego a los 26 se te olvida, ¿no? Se te olvida durante un año y ya la has cagado.
Exacto.
Como, ¡mierda!
Pues básicamente lo que hacemos nosotros, o nuestro trabajo, está en convertir la información en conocimiento, y para ello lo que utilizamos es una herramienta que es generar experiencias. ¿Y qué hacemos nosotros? Nosotros pensamos que los infográficos hasta cierto punto no nos pueden llegar a aportar la conexión con la información que sí que puede hacer lo que nosotros le llamamos infoexperiencias. Ya os voy a enseñar una de las infoexperiencias que hicimos, que es la pieza esta.
In life, there are things which we are able to decide, and others which we can't. Death is one of those things that plays between these two possibilities, where one can decide when to die, but not for how long they will live for. 800 balloons mark the point between one's real age and the age at which they would like to die, in contrast with their gender. The white balloons are the coordinates of those who don't know at what age they want to die, whereas the black balloons are the coordinates of those who do know at what age they want to die. A volatile and ephemeral peace that questions our desire to live and an irrefutable end of a journey, or in other words, a lifeline.
Esto es una pieza, como podéis ver, muy artística, no tiene una aplicación tan comercial como podamos trabajar ahora, pero nos sirve mucho para explicar un poco la capacidad o la manera de transformar los datos en una experiencia tangible a través de un lenguaje que pueda entender todo el mundo. Es decir, si os fijáis, aquí hay dos gráficos cartesianos normales, aquí hay un centro y luego hay un gráfico que funciona de aquí la edad real de las personas y la edad a la que les gustaría vivir. Entonces esto es una instalación que empezó todo con globos blancos y a medida que la gente iba generando sus coordenadas, cambiaba el globo blanco por uno negro, representando poco a poco iban generándose estos gráficos que explicaban cuándo la gente le gustaría morir y enseñando estos clústeres. Es decir, cuando había una correlación en un punto más de una vez, el globo subía, si es que ya había ese globo negro, y poco a poco se generaba un gráfico. Pero en el fondo esto sirve mucho para explicar cómo una cosa como puede ser esto de aquí, se puede transformar en una experiencia que genera varias cosas. Primero de todo, hace que haya un cambio en la información, en cómo normalmente estamos acostumbrados a recibir la información, ya que está generada para normalmente generar un impacto en las personas, y de este modo lo que estamos haciendo es empoderar a la gente para que genere un impacto en la información. Por otro lado, una cosa que nos dimos cuenta fue que cambiando la manera en que estábamos representando los datos, sobre todo estaba cambiando la manera en que la gente estaba entendiendo estos datos. Es decir, normalmente recibimos la información de una forma como muy unidireccional, y en este caso lo que estábamos generando era un diálogo con la información, ¿no? A la vez que esto generaba un diálogo entre distintas personas. Es decir, el hecho de que nosotros luego pudiéramos empezar a hablar con un montón de gente que nos explicara su historia, que pudieran estas personas ya directamente contarnos parte de su vida o parte de su realidad o de su pensamiento con datos que son tan personales como puede ser tu edad o la edad incluso en la que quieres morir, solo es posible en el momento que generas el contexto adecuado para trabajar una información concreta. Porque esto es lo que siempre decimos, yo si me voy a la calle y le pregunto a alguien, oye, ¿tú a qué edad te gustaría morir? O aún más, ¿qué edad tienes? Es que es una locura, no vas a conseguir esos datos, ¿no? Pero si tú generas el contexto adecuado para ello, vas a poder crear esto.
No.
Do you want me to switch in English? I can, no worries.
Sure.
Okay, totally. We're telling a bit about our work. It's about data visualization somehow, the talk. So yeah, just join.
You wanna sit there?
Yeah, there's room here.
This is another project that we did. It's actually the first project that we did before we started Domestic Data Streamers. It's an experiment that we did in the street, where we were asked to paint a wall, a mural graffiti wall, and it's where all domestic data started. And we were asked to paint just a graphic artwork, but we decided that we wanted to include the people that surrounded that wall, and we wanted to make a wall created by everyone, not by us. So what we did, we thought that the best way to do so was by asking people questions. First of all, we started analyzing the space, and we realized that this space is a place that is really characteristic of Barcelona, because it's full of not only city blocks but luxury hotels, discos, schools, private schools, public schools. So it's a place with a lot of different cultures, and that's why we thought that we wanted to create something that could mirror this reality in a wall. And what we did is we generated a system that for 24 hours asked it to the people how they were feeling, if they were feeling positive or negative. And just only that, we started thinking on that, and we started visualizing this information in this timeline that was a 24 hours timeline, where everyone was represented in something as simple as a circle. Depending on the color of the circle, they were saying that they were feeling positive or negative. And depending the age, the circle was bigger or smaller. So at the end, what we got was this flow map that talked about how the people was feeling during the day and could tell us things that were interesting, like the old people in the morning are like really feeling grumpy, and then the best hour that people feels happy is at 2 a.m. in the morning. It's because there is the Apollo Club in nearby. But here we realized many things. One was that, that after the day that we made this installation, what happened is that we went there to take some pictures, and we saw this little girl with her mother pointing to one of the circles and saying, "Hey, Mom, this is me." And then we realized that what we generated was no longer just a visualization or something that was a visual art work, but actually we generated something that belonged to the people. And that's where we started getting interested in exploring and studying the relation between information and people. This is, for example, a project that is more advanced in time somehow, where we started working for companies. This is for the Design and Architecture Awards. Yesterday I told you a bit about the project, but now I'm going to explain you a bit more. We were asked by basically the company to generate a system that could actually transform the way that people were voting, as they weren't having a lot of votes on the Audience Award prize. And what we did is we generated a machine that changed the way that people were voting until then. As normally, when you vote in this prize, you just think in a project that you like and you just tweet it with a hashtag, because there were like 371 projects, and people just tweeted the project and pressed the button, and that was it. And after studying a bit, we felt and we understood that people weren't feeling connected to this reality because they weren't getting any reward on it, and there was any story behind it. So they were just making automatic action. And the process of voting is something that is much more. It involves people, and at the end it's a collaborative process. And what we did is we created this machine, or we started thinking on creating a machine that could actually transform the process of voting into something much bigger, and something that could make people relate to it. And does it change? So what we did is we created a machine that transformed each of the votes, each of the tweets, into a drop of gold that ended up in a test tube that was in one of the nominees, creating during 1 month that was placed a real-time voting system somehow, and a real-time infographic at the end. This way, what happened is that the organization, before we did this, they had almost only about 5,000 participants, and with this method we reached more than 25,000 people participating. Because what happened is that people went there to see the machine, went there to feel the experience it, told it to the others, and they came back to see how was the process going. So during 1 month, this was a story that happened in the place. This is some of the pictures. And at the end, also what was nice is that all the prize was on the top and was somehow given to all the participants in some measure.
The one was empty?
The ones that were empty, we were really sorry about them, but it's the reality.
So they were empty ones? Oh.
Yes, of course.
Oh.
This, for example, is another project that we did for the CCCB, the Center for Contemporary Culture in Barcelona, where we were asked by the curators to answer to a question. And the question was, is it possible to extract the impact of an artwork towards the public of an exhibition? And for sure, this is a really impossible question to face, because art is subjective, but what we can really do is track the amount of time that people spend in front of one artwork or another. And this, at the end, is somehow related to the impact that artworks has on people. So when you get impacted on something, you pay attention on it. So what we did, we placed 5 different sensors, Kinect sensors, that were tracking people and people's looking at one artwork or another. We placed 5 different ones in 5 different artworks. And they were checking if they were male, female, how much time they were staring in front of one artwork or another. And what we did is, we thought in a way that could, yesterday we were talking about that sometimes it's really difficult to explain concepts that are maybe as metaphysical as time. Time is something that if you try to explain it by words, it may be difficult. But if you find the ways or the visual metaphors that people have been explaining, then it's more easy to relate. If you relate them to something that you already know. As human beings, we've been relating time to many different physical forms to make it understandable for people. Because if we talk about an amount of time, it's really difficult if we cannot relate it to something that is real. That's why we've got many examples on human beings generating sand clocks, or clocks that are with sun, clocks that are even with candles. So what we did, we thought in a way that was really understandable for everyone to represent time, and that was by using a normal sand clock. We started testing how we could create a sand clock that actually could translate the same amount of time that someone was staring in front of an artwork to the same amount of sand. This was, I think, really fast prototyping, as you can see. This is part of the process on making the real sand clocks. Somehow we believe that what we try to put always in our work is put this part of emotion, this part of feeling, this part of reality, this part of beauty. Something that can transform a number into something much more transcendent, into something that can make feel things to people. And here is the process of creating this sand clocks. We work with different artisans for creating this somehow computerized sand clocks that translated on real time the same amount of time that people were staring in front of an artwork into an amount of sand.
Why were you using artisans? Actually, I may understand that probably there are ways to make it. So
because the way we like to work is in a way that actually is really related to humans, or make something that we can actually touch, that we can somehow it's nice to be able to relate or to create together with someone that, for example, if you have to work with glass, to work with a glass artisan. And this is also really interesting for us because it allows us to, with working with data or information, to touch many different realities. And maybe working with artisans is like something that is really nice in order to just enrich our knowledge somehow. And at the end, what happened is that we created these 5 sand clocks that were at the end of an exhibition that was called, and now it's in Singapore, it's been in London and Madrid, Big Bang Data, that actually after 6 months it releases which of the artworks tracked has generated more impact. And what was nice also here was that after people realizing this, they went back to see which was the artwork that generated that impact. Also, for example, we've been working on data in ways that can be really, again, understandable and easy, and using easy languages that everyone can understand. So if we're talking about emojis, or if we are talking about emotion, there is a really nice way that everyone understands and a language that everyone understands that are emojis. So we realize that it's really difficult sometimes to attend to a conference and give your feedback to the speaker. As normally there is only the speaker talking and then there is no feedback of the audience. And what we wanted was to generate a system that could allow all the attendees to generate this feedback towards the speakers. So basically we generated 5 different emojis with 5 different emotions. So whenever one of the speakers of the host venue of the conferences finished their conference, there was an emoji react. So everyone, literally 300 people, became real size emojis, expressing in a way or visualizing in a data visualization that was related more to a human language than into numbers or charts. And at the end this was a huge chart talking about different emojis, because you literally could see that there was a conference that generated a lot of love or a lot of surprise. And this was, again, another example on how we can break all the ways that have been until now used to express or to explain data. We've also been working on creating different scenarios to explain different methods and processes through, for example, sound. We've been working with the California Academy of Sciences on developing a survey to understand the relation between where do people live, related if they live near to the city, in a city or in the country yard, towards their connection with nature, and if they're happy or not with that. We made a 6-month survey that was going on during the nights in the California Academy of Sciences. And well, now I'm going to show you a few examples, but are more in the reality itself. We were walking in Venice Beach last year, and we saw these guys, and we got like really impressed, because it was quite amazing what they had generated. They were asking for money, but they actually weren't asking for money. They were asking for which religion cares most about the homeless. And this, at the end, again, was a way that was changing totally the way that information normally is being displayed, as it was empowering people to generate the impact that we were talking about before on the visualization, and was changing totally the way that people were participating with this information as they were generating this dialogue, where they were saying that, people at the end was saying that was, what was then, the Jedi was really nice.
Was the Pastafari?
Yeah, there was the Pastafarian also at the beginning. At the end there was the H2O, which is this medical marijuana centers around California. But this was amazing, because these guys understood the reality on how to generate this dialogue between, and at the end this was an amazing data visualization at the end, no? Then there is another example. Normally we are used to read meteorological realities, the forecast, in this way, no? With this kind of maps. But this kind of maps are somehow hard to read, or they lack some part of reality. And this is an example that Pau, one of my partners, found that is really interesting. That when he was really young, when he went to the village, and there was a lake, where in the middle of the lake he found this church. But what happened with this church was that depending on the year, depending on the period of the year, the church was inside the water or outside the water.
Excuse me, Susqueda or Sau?
Sau, Alpantada Sau.
Okay.
Yeah. And this reality, at the end, this data visualization transcended much more than this. Again, what we are doing, or what we are trying to do, is to find these ways to explain reality, these visual metaphors that can explain us, can help us to explain different and complex realities and make them understandable for everyone. This is another guy that we found in Santa Barbara. He had been 10 years trying to get and reach the government and the news to explain all the cost of the wars in the United States of America. And after 10 years trying to send papers, newsletters, whatever, he decided that he got fed up and he went here to Santa Barbara and he created this kind of memorial where he translated all the data that he had on been pushing to the government into something physical. What happened was that after this reality, after transforming this, for example, deaths into real crosses, all the media came to explain this reality, because actually people could understand and feel and see the reality itself. As you can see here, there is an example. For example, on the left, it's talking about how many money it has cost, the lives that has been generating, and also what was quite hard and interesting at the same time was that people who had lost someone in the war started placing their names in the crosses. So this wasn't no longer a visualization, but a memorial itself, no? So it means that it's the same that happens if you've been in the ground zero, La Zona Zero, and in Manhattan. You will see that some of the names that you can see where there is this memorial, there are flowers there. And this is a visualization of feeling. This is a visualization of emotion. And it's in a way, in a language that, again, is understandable for everyone. And we've got this nice word saying that we only truly understand something when we can relate it to something we already know. And what we are doing nowadays is on finding the best ways to truly transmit information in a way that is understandable, is reachable, and is feelable for everyone. And, well, at the end, we're in a piece. We end up with a blank paper because there is still a lot to do, as we are still at the beginning on how we can change the way communication is being understood and how it's being generated. And we just empower you to start thinking in this way. But before finishing, we would like you to generate your first data visualization, at least first physical data visualization. So I invite you all to get out in the garden.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna join the droners.
We'll go a bit over there, on the left.
Instead.
Oh, these are the superpower people.
The record Got another question. Would you ask or not quit your flight?
Where's the nut?
Here's the note.
Well, is that before or after you're married?
Okay. Yes. Next question. The client and the professional. Yes, you are using your power. Okay, can you please say it again?
When you first meet someone, or if you're client on a date or whatever, you justify how they dress, what they wear, how they're yes.
I'm not proud of it. I want to answer your question.
Like, okay, let's go. Funky. Funky. You are funky. And then you have a very...
To me, again, in fashion, the problem is that it's not on one thing, but your appearance, the way you dress, is part of it. You are happy.
One more question. You guys face the same thing? It's all the same. Shut up, I'm funky. Okay. How much do you judge some are based on
What?
race.
That's a good one.
Left, don't judge a lot, or don't judge at all. None? Zero?
No one doesn't feel
No, that's true.
No one says
I do.
zero.
I feel sometimes, but depends on the look as well. I mean, the whole, you know, in Barcelona. I can make an example of it. I do.
For
I know, I live in
for a
Spain,
job,
I
you
know.
mean?
No,
Or
not for a job. I mean, depends. The dressing thing comes as well. If you decide to walk on the street from, you know, like the kind of speech. If it's white as well, but if not, okay, it's not especially. Well, yeah.
I think there's a big difference between clothes and race. Because when you dress, of course, you can achieve doable. But when you come to an interview and you choose either to dress elegant or to dress funky, there's the same. You dress this way not because you randomly picked. You chose this for a reason. And if you're funky, then might say otherwise. Positive, like this is who I am. I'm not driving hard because I know I do the job to come up at the positive part, right? So it's all it's a saying and it has to come with a context. However, race is just you didn't choose your ways, you didn't die.
Now it's your turn.
No, it was a good one. Maybe this question
But I can judge all the time.
really?
Part of the way I dress.
Bought your new car,
All the time.
you feeling
All
just
the
negative
time.
to buy it, and you finally have it. Ask you about this. The first day you have it, okay? You're with you're meeting your friends. It's my car, and a friend of yours says, "I'm in a hard place. Can I borrow the car? I need to go to something and everything bad." This guy, would you borrow him? My new car. Borrow and not borrow.
that you
Something that you really appreciate so much, or like, okay, you don't you put it, you put. What? Wait.
because we all know our friends.
No, okay, I changed, sorry, I'm dyslexic, okay. What I said first was you put. Yeah, the borrowers. Borrowers and not borrowers. The first one. No, first day. 2Ks in the counter, you know? It's like
There are two things, the friends, and what is he asking that for? I mean, it's not
Carry.
it's something that is quite, it's an important thing.
It's an important thing, but he's in a hurry. He's gonna drive a bit fast, you know. It's
That is a life of that.
yeah. It's always the tail in that, because if you do the yes or the no, you're missing.
Well, look, I did that once, and it was yes, and I was very happy to do it. And then when he left with the car, oh shit, what did I do? That was very stressful. But now I'm not sure if I should be over there or over here. I don't think I would do it again.
My best friend is together. My aunt wants to say, oh, this is not very good. Any man?
He had it, so what happened to the car? Which doesn't have it.
You know what? Sometimes you know,
You bought a
people
van.
act like they can't, like this.
That's it.
He wasn't like extremely weak.
That's it. That's the kind of guy he is. You want to make it.
But if you don't care much about things, you might not buy it.
No, I actually don't buy it all the time, but I would buy a good car because I feel my family. But it's less
Like fettuccine. You would be fettuccine.
Yeah, I want just to make a little
But it's with cars as well, you can bet. Watch it.
let me just give you a quick comment. At the end, what we just did is we made a data visualization, but as you can see, we've used it in a way that it has explained a lot. It has made everyone participate. Everyone has felt connected because he's been part of it. And at the end, we've been talking about numbers, we've been talking about realities, and we've
been talking about something that could be just a statistic, but in a way that we've all been having fun, we've all been learning, and we will all remember. So this, at the end, is what we do, and what we're trying to do, to transform numbers into experiences. And this was just a really simple and easy example of it, just becoming ourselves, the numbers. And well, this was about today. Yeah, for sure.
How many people have hooked up with Tinder? Yes and no.
Okay. You know
No?
what? You like Tinder?
I want to know.
I would have if there was Tinder when I was still single.
No one, I don't believe you. Oh, liars.
No, I wish you're the only one.
No, I didn't say that. No one.
Married before
I
Tinder
don't believe
existed.
this.
What
Oh,
can you do?
Go there. Let's go.
Go back to the palm trees.
Very far away.
I don't believe anybody.
You see that? Go over there.
No,
Don't
why?
tell
You need to ask a younger
the
population.
team. Yeah, it's Axel is on.
Question was if any
You know what
of
hurts
the
me about
people
what you
here
said?
have ever hooked up
We
with
don't have
Tinder.
numbers.
Ever. And that's what I'm saying. How many people done it? All night. So I don't know
Because the numbers
anything.
are different things. We don't have a 66% of the exact thing. So I hope you.
I think I did the Tinder equivalent.
Are you shareholder in Tinder or what's happening?
I also had one.
You, I know what you would have done.
It's called Green Day. I used to make my tongue go shape.
So yes,
See, I had a big problem with it that I did.
but who cares? They don't look better because they don't look up.
One thing, in the first meeting thing,
If you ask, have you ever hooked up with someone after having a drink at a bar?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, of
Okay, how
course.
many of you have hooked up on the first date?
Well, okay.
How many? Hooked up on the first date. Hooked up on the first date. Hooked up on the first date.
Going to be super proud to be there.
How many people have hooked up on the first date?
We'll see you later. With the long hair,
How many
you
people have hooked up after the first drink?
Yeah, are you on that side?
I'm on this side.
What? You don't know?
Are you that side here?
My footprint.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
Wait, this side is what?
Let's go drink
This
some water.
is never hooked up on the
You want to
first
drink
date.
some water?
You see? You're judge. You're judge. By how I dress. I did not hook up on Tinder. Who said that? I was asking the question.
But you were implying that you are voiced by your voice. Yes, yes.